Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. I am sitting right now in my car next to the sea, and it's so peaceful. This has been one of my favorite activities lately, just to come closer to the sea, to observe the movement of the water. The cars are passing in a distance, and it's such a privilege to be able to remove yourself from the stress, from the noise of the life, and just to be with yourself. Lately, I am craving silence a lot. The reason why I stopped posting online that much is because I felt such a huge pressure to perform, to do something which doesn't feel right to me, which kind of is obligating me to do something as per the rules of somebody else. And in order to understand what I actually want to do, I had to remove myself from the noise, and I had to come next to the sea to find my wisdom and to understand what I actually want to do. When I started personal development journey, I started it mostly just to be a better mom. But as the time was progressing, I discovered how brilliantly my mind is working, how beautiful things I can create when I use my mind fully. And what I do is really passion to me. What I do, it really brings me so much peace and love and fulfills me to maximum. And I cannot stop doing what I'm doing, especially this platform, this podcast. I truly enjoy to record and to hang out with you here every Sunday. However, I have to find a way for social media, how to maintain it so it doesn't pressure me, so I get my voice out, so I use my brilliant mind more. So in order for me to find a way how to do it and how to align it in a way that serves the purpose, I had to silence myself. I had to remove myself from the noise to find that alignment inside of me. Women often need silence, but what I have observed is that we often need silence from the roles, from the pressure of life, especially when we are moms. We want to go away from the children, we want to rest, we don't want to be constantly needed. However, I was doing this thing as well, and I noticed most of the moms are doing. When we actually get that silence, when we actually get that space for ourselves, we start numbing. We start watching TV, scrolling social media, because it feels good in that moment. It feels relaxing. Now I'm finally myself. Now I'm finally doing something without anybody interrupting me. And it's like kind of anesthesia in the moment. It pulls us away from actually facing the truth of why do we need silence in the first place. Because as long as our mind is busy doing something, we don't have to reflect on that question. And I was sitting in that position in my motherhood for a very long time until I started choosing that silence with intention to hear my mind. So, like I said, most of the women, they choose silence to run away from the roles, to run away from life, to remove themselves from obligations. But not many women are choosing silence intentionally, the way I started doing it during this year, and it really became habit now towards the end of this year, where nothing is happening in my life, nothing is pushing me to go alone and be in silence, but I am literally craving it to be by myself with my own thoughts. Why is it important to start choosing silence? Because only place where we can build a relationship with ourselves is when we are with ourselves, when we are alone with our mind, when we are alone with our soul. As long as we are disturbing that relationship with the numbing, with the TV, with the noise, with the friends, with work, with chores, with cleaning, whatever you're doing, just not to sit with yourself, you are not able actually to hear your mind, to hear what does your mind is trying to tell you. Silence for me became the place where I go for contemplations, the place where I go to understand myself, the place where I go to understand some problems of my life, the place where I go to find a way how I will deal with the certain situations in my life. I remove myself from the noise, from the phone, from the TV, from anything distracting relationship between me and my mind and my soul, and I give presence and space for myself to hear what exactly my mind is trying to tell me, what exactly I supposed to do, how exactly I supposed to act. And the thing is, we cannot even hear our own intuition if we are constantly disturbing that relationship between intuition and ourself. Without silence, without relationship with ourselves, without initiating with intention silence, we become human beings that are just, like hamster wheel. We're running in the circle without actually stopping for a second to ask ourselves, why am I running in this circle? What exactly is happening? Why I need to run away from my life? Which load I'm taking? Do I need to set some boundaries? Do I need to change something? And the problem is that we are often terrified of the answers that our mind will give us. We often justify it with being bored. I cannot sit with myself. I am bored. What am I supposed to do? I cannot just keep staring at the wall. This is not interesting. This is the stories that I hear from women over and over again, justification why they cannot be with themselves alone. Then when we feel bored, what we do is we replace that boredom with the numbing. We replace that boredom with doing meaningless things just to don't hear ourselves. And those things, they feel good, but they are pulling us away from hearing ourselves. They are distracting that connection with ourselves. It's like if you would try to sit with your friend to have peaceful coffee in the nightclub. And she is shouting, trying to tell you something, and you are shouting, trying to tell her something, or she is trying to hear you. In order to hear yourself, you have to create conditions to hear yourself. And at the beginning, it feels stupid. It feels like, why am I even doing this? And when I started using it with intention, it started being less awkward, more like my own thing, my own separation, my own break from the life, from the noise. But before, I didn't really know how to use my mind when I'm with myself. I would be still distracting myself, using the phone, reading the book, doing anything, just not to sit with my own mind. But once I started really practicing to sit with my own mind, to ask the questions about my life, to try to answer it myself without pulling anybody in my life, without asking anybody for advice, some beautiful things started to happen. I started getting more clarity, getting more understanding about myself and my life. And when you start gaining clarity and decisions and insights from your own mind, you truly start respecting yourself. You truly start valuing yourself. You start less needing people around you to guide you and to tell you what you're supposed to do in your life. The feeling of self-doubt drops. The feeling of I need everybody around me to tell me what I'm supposed to do drops. You start anchoring in yourself because you finally allowed yourself to hear yourself. And then you take actions in your life based on your own hearing, based on your own clarity. And it's such a powerful feeling when you start really cherishing your mind, when you really start taking your own insights, your own way of thinking and processing like something which is valuable. Women often seek for that insights. They seek for advices outside of themselves, forgetting that everything is inside of them. We numb ourselves, we take phones, we watch TV, we clean, anything we can do just to don't hear our mind. And somewhere deep inside, I think that we kind of even don't believe that our mind can produce such a brilliant insights. This was my problem. When I started noticing my mind and the way my mind is mapping the things, I was shocked. I couldn't believe, okay, is this really the way I'm thinking? It's not the way that most of the people think. Why does this happen? Because often in our life, other people didn't mirror the brilliance of our mind. Most of us, we are raised in societies where women are silenced, where women didn't have voice, where woman using her mind is something that shouldn't happen. No matter how much we try to avoid this fact, no matter how much we try to say, no, but we are modern, but our society is different, this doesn't have nothing to do with the culture. It's everywhere around the world. The woman with the mind, the woman who knows how to use her mind is becoming something which is dangerous. So we were often not reflected to us. It was not said to us how beautiful is our mind, how brilliant can be when we start actually using it. And only way we can use it, only way that we can gain respect for our own insights, for our own decisions, for our own thought process is when we start initiating silence, when we start creating silence with intention to hear our own mind. It's like basically saying, nobody reflected my mind to me, so I will sit with myself to reflect my mind to myself. I will allow myself to hear what my mind can produce, what decision my mind can create. And ironically, this is what we actually often avoid, because we always deep inside know all the answers for any problem in our life we have. We deep inside know, but we avoiding that decisions, we are avoiding to follow our own guidance because we are terrified of mistake, because we are terrified of failure, because we are terrified what does that mean for our life if we make this or that decision. Because for us, it's easier to stay in predictable pain than to choose unpredictable options, unpredictable solutions. So we rather stay where we are, even if it's hurting us, than expand and try something new and try some new approach. Once we stop being afraid of our own mind, once we give it the space and create environment to hear ourselves and start taking actions on those thoughts, we gain such a respect for ourselves. We become self-led women. We don't need anybody to guide us, advise us, or tell us what we're supposed to do. We lead ourselves based on our own thought process. And this is why today I'm sitting next to the sea in my car recording this podcast episode, because I felt today such a strong need to be with myself, to sit in the silence, to record this episode from the car, to talk to you this week. And I led myself to the place where it feels comfortable, to the place where I can hear my thought process and share it today with you. So I hope that you found some wisdom in today's podcast episode and that you will start choosing silence with intention for yourself, so you allow yourself to build a relationship with yourself, to hear your own mind, to start becoming and being self-led woman, the one who makes her own decisions, who respects her own mind, who doesn't need anybody to tell her what she's supposed to do in her life, because deep inside you know what you're supposed to do in your life. You don't need nobody to guide you or to tell you. You just need to create environment to hear yourself. And that's all for this week. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day. Until the next Sunday. Bye.